This video is made for adult collectors because I just had to Google to make sure this was called Dino Emperor because I keep getting Dino Emperor and Dino Commander confused. See, I thought this was the coolest dinosaur combiner that I owned, the full action edition, and then I got this. Oh wow, they're the same size. I haven't actually put these two next to each other till just now. They're the same height. That actually worked. That works quite well. I like that. Volcanicus, step aside. This thing is so cool. Miniforce Dino Emperor is such a fun figure, but this is the small one. There are at least two versions of this, maybe? That's undecided between my friends because we discovered there might be a third, but I doubt that. This one is about the size of a modern Hasbro combiner, and the big moron, the big one, is actually massive. I got to see one at TFCon, and it's a lot bigger than this, but honestly, I prefer the smaller one. It's more palatable for my display and space concerns, not to mention it kind of scales pretty well with those other combiners that I think he fits in. But let's disassemble him down to his dinosaur components, and wait a minute, two of these aren't even dinosaurs. That's a pterosaur and that's a Dimetrodon. A lizard? Actually, what is a Dimetrodon? I love the way the creature looks, but I know nothing about it. But the quote-unquote dinosaurs are neat, if a bit weirdly proportioned. Surprisingly, I think my favorite of the bunch, though, is the sauropod. He's just a big brick that looks very funny, like he ate too much and is just bloated. The Triceratops is neat, but my copy's got a bent horn. They're made of a soft plastic, so all I need to do is just heat that up and I can fix it. But this thing looks pretty neat otherwise with its massive head. The pterosaur is actually enormous, like the wingspan is long as hell, and there's a lot of movement in those wings. They can flap around and rotate. The Dimetrodon is really intimidating. It's also where the coin sits. The coin, by the way, isn't made of metal on the smaller version. I do like how low to the ground it sits, though. It's very scary looking. Their colors are quite Megazord-y, but the shades they used, I like them, especially the bluish green on the Dimetrodon. And then there's the T-Rex. This thing is wicked. I love the colors. The gold reminds me of gold that Lego used to use on like the 2015 Bionicle sets. His arms are, they're a bit gimped, I won't lie, and the combination joints are just hanging out on the sides, but they do blend in mostly fine, that it isn't really a bother to me personally. This one has like actual articulation with the legs being the robot mode legs and so on. Not to mention they all have opening mouths. But enough about the dinosaurs. Let's combine them. So the big difference this has over like a traditional Hasbro combiner is none of these have their own robot modes. They are just limbs. It's like, you know, like this. They don't have individual robot modes. And they do parts form, sort of. Well, two of them do, but we'll get to that. So I guess we'll start with the legs first, which is the Brachiosaurus, Apatosaur, whatever this is supposed to be. You start ripping them apart. So head comes off, tail comes off, you rip them in half. Then you want to take this panel, fold that up, fold up the toe, figure out which side the ankle tilt is on. It's this one. Now this side has a slot right here because that's where the head goes. So you put that in there and then just fold it up and it will peg into place, and that's a leg. This side, you want to fold this section up, fold the heel back, and then this piece will just peg into the front there. And those are your two legs pretty much done. Now we'll do the arms. I thought these were going to be like the exact same transformation. They're quite different from each other. So the Triceratops, you want to take these gold panels and fold them up, and then fold the feet up, and they're going to peg into these gold panels underneath the feet. So you get that situated. Then you take the arms and you fold them up, rotate them. Your dog barks. Then you fold this around, peg it into place, and then fold that down, and it's going to peg in and sit at this angle. Then you fold the tail up, fold the fist forward, and then extend this piece, rotate the shoulder around, and bring the dinosaur head down, and that's an arm. The Dimetrodon is the only other piece of parts forming. So you take this entire top assembly off, and you just fold the feet up and around. You open up this section here, pop the coin out, and then the coin's gonna sit in the middle right there. That's the shield. Then the rest of the Dimetrodon, you fold these panels back and clip those in, fold the feet up, rotate the fist, extend the arm, and then fold that down, and that forms that. And then the shield, it pegs into the middle here and then into these two spots there. So you peg that into the middle and into those two other places. If you can see what you're doing, because I cannot. There's your arms done. The backpack section, you just want to fold the wings forward while folding the claws in. Take these and then rotate this section down. It's going to peg into the gray parts. Then you compress this together and that locks all of this into place. Then you want to take the head, push it down, fold the feet up, and he's ready to go. Now we bring in the Rex. And this is where a lot of well, most of the robot just lives in here. So you pull the tail off, and then you wanna fold this section out, and that's the sword handle. Then you bring the legs down, and you fold them out so that they are fully straight. Then you take these side sections here, you bring them around, and you fold the hip skirts down, fold in the hands. Take this head section, bring it back, then bring this section in, and it will clip into place. You then open the jaw, that's going to sit down here, then you pull the head out, and you can just have him like stand there like this if you want to, because it's funny. Ta-da, there he is. The arms, you mount them, just sliding them in from the top. They just friction into place. They're pretty solid connection too, even though they don't click. That's really, that's really funny actually. I haven't seen that yet. But once you have this done, you want to straighten the feet out, and then they will just slide into the backs of here, clip into place, and then you just bring the knee forward, and that locks everything in, and there's your leg on. Do that again, you just slot this into the back, it'll click, bring this forward, it'll click again. There you have that. Now the connection for the backpack, it's a C-clip that goes into here, all Megazord like, right? Like that's nothing new. But it's not the most strong connection in the world. Like, it's in. It's the only thing that feels weird to plug in. But again, that's a solid connection. It's not gonna come out. Then you take the sword, plug it into his hand, and voila, giant dinosaur man. Now that is a badass robot. Big, clunky and chunky Cybertron feeling robot mode. Like, these two have some pretty common denominators about them in terms of how they feel and function, though this Miniforce figure has a very modern layout of articulation, but we'll talk about that stuff later. There is a lot of lovely sculpted detail on display, a good healthy mix of plastic and paint color separation throughout, and even though this is the smaller version, it's by no means tiny. Not only is he tall as previously stated, but he's also wide in like all directions. He does have a sword and shield. The Dimetrodon sails unfold to be a shield with the coin in the middle, and the T-Rex tail can become the it's supposed to be a sword, but it's so like thick, he's just hitting you with a hot dog. I love the head sculpt. I like how the ears and horns swoop back and how they painted the eyeliner. It makes those green eyes pop. And then the mouth plate. I just love robots with mouth plates. This thing is very solid. Everything plugs in, and giving it a shake, nothing really wants to move or comes apart, save for the pterosaur. It is a little bit fiddly. If you get it at just the right angle, it will pop out. And now I did mention posing and how there's a lot of modern articulation. Compared to other Miniforce and some metal cardbot figures I have, this thing is like a Figuarts figure by comparison. However, some of the joints have limitations due to the sculpt in weird ways. So for the purposes of the articulation, I'm going to take the sword and shield off. They don't have anywhere really to store, they just sort of go off to the side. But there is a lot going on in here, and most of it's good and some of it not so much. So the head is on a ball joint, the ball going down into the torso, but you do get some really nice tilt out of that. You can also get a full rotation. The horn does bump into the teeth every once in a while, and so like that's a little annoying, but the teeth, from what I can tell, are inserts in here, so they're not like you're gonna scratch any paint off if you do that. It's just a little annoying. The wings of the pterosaur, they can fold forward and back. The midsection doesn't move anymore. However, you can pull it out if you want that to move backwards. But again, this is the only like slightly not solid part about it, so you know, just be careful with that. The shoulders, they can do a full 360, but the wings do get in the way. You do have out at this joint right here and inside here, so you get up that far here, and then you can go up that far there, so you get a little bit more than a T-pose. He does have bicep rotation, 90-degree bend at the elbow, and then wrist articulation. Also, these wings can fold down if you like that more, but I'm leaving them up. He does have a waist joint that's like right in the middle here, and you know, it can do a full 360. However, the pterosaur, almost a dragon, the pterosaur feet bump into the back, so you really only get that far, both sides. And as you notice, this is coming apart. This tab right here on this side doesn't like sitting in as well as I'd hope. I need to thicken that tab up. But the hip skirts, they're on double hinges, so they can move incredibly out of the way. This is where the sculpt gets in the way of the articulation. So the hips can go forward only about that far. They can go back quite a bit. They can go out. You can do a full splits. You do have thigh rotation, but that's pretty much all you're going to get out of the thigh rotation. And because of the way that this transformation joint works, you move this forward and start moving it out, it starts unpegging this piece here, which is a touch annoying, like just a little bit bothersome. It does it on both sides. There you go, that one really went out. But yeah, it's just this bit right here bumping into here, causing this entire piece to dislodge itself. It has two pegs. Well, this side stays in pretty well until you start moving the leg, and if it bumps into the hip skirt, it just pops that out. He does have a little bit under 90 degrees of bend at the knee, but if you unpeg the knee, you can get a full 90-degree bend, which is pretty neat. And there's like piston detail exposed in here, which is very fun. They're very hard to lock back into place. And then you have ankle tilt that goes about that far, and you have toe down if you can use that at all. But yeah, he has a lot of joints, not like Taki level posing. I don't think anything's going to reach this level of posing anytime soon, but still pretty decent for the most part. I just wish the hips, that's my biggest issue, is this section right here. I wish it was a little bit more fluid and didn't get in its own way. Even with all those nitpicks, I really like this thing. I got it in Shanghai and I paid like 40 bucks Canadian for it, but trying to get this thing over here can be a bit on the pricey side. Hopefully they become easier to get, but even still, if you find yourself presented with this or the bigger one, I would definitely recommend it. But that's been my look at Miniforce Dino Emperor. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.